Welcome back, friends, to the shop. So today we're going to start the restoration on a really special hand plane. This was sent to me by one of my subscribers. This particular plane is the one that's been missing from my collection. It's a Stanley Bailey, a number 4, that's all complete and in good shape. Looks a little rusty, doesn't look very nice right now, but this is probably, if you were just going to have one, the number 4 is about as good as a guy's going to get. I know I've got a modern version of the number 4, the new reproduction that Stanley makes, that's not as good as the old ones, but it is my go-to plane. It's the one that I use more than anything else. So let's take this apart, and barring no unforeseen major damage, I think that this might turn into a really nice restoration. All right, guys, let's see what we got here. If you ever come across a Stanley Bailey plane, a number 4, boy, be sure and buy it if it's a reasonable price at a garage sale or an estate sale. These things, you know, I'm not the expert on them, and there's lots of different models, but some of them, you know, I've seen them go in used condition from as $150 and more sometimes. So this is the wood knob. This would have been, I think these would have been rosewood, the original ones. We'll see if that was original, but it looks to be. Look at the brass screw. That's all, and it's not chewed up there. No one's been ham-fisted with the improper screwdriver, so that's very clean. You know, a lot of these things have never really seen much use before. I mean, they just look really bad when they're rusty, but they've been sitting around for 120 years. Here's the cap. This would have been originally had a nickel plating on that, and that's in good shape. Some guys will use these to tighten the screws here. I don't know if that was a sanctioned deal from Stanley, but they can be broken on the tips there. But this looks like it's in good condition. It's got the cam, works great. And I'm going to show you a pain-free way to de-rust all this stuff with no labor. Here we have the iron and the chip breaker. And we can, this I think is typically what guys, I've done it before too. I get chastised every time I do that. I should probably quit doing that. But we can separate these. We want to separate everything before we de-rust. Looks like the original screw. The iron in good shape. Of course, Stanley right there. No one has beat on it. It's got some glue or adhesive on there. That's not a problem, but we'll clean this up. This will be just like brand new. Obviously hand sharpened. We can see the inconsistencies there. We'll fix that. Chip breaker looks good. We'll improve upon that. When we're done with this, it's going to work better than it did when it was brand new. Okay, so this is called, if memory serves, this is the frog. These can be kind of hard to get open. No, it's not bad. But again, everything looks very crispy and clean, or not marred up, chewed up. Let's see, well the frog will come loose. I don't know why they call that the frog. This here I think is the frog. It doesn't look like a frog, but we've got the adjuster there, and that's got a nickel coating on it as well. Looks like it's all nickel. Looks pretty good though, doesn't it? It's probably never been off. And then we have, I don't know what this adjustment screw, okay, so here's the worst part of this is that the handle, we might be able to salvage it. It's got a little crack on the top, but it's not broken or anything, and it's loose just because the screw hasn't been tightened. And look at that, we got that brass. Aren't those pretty? I love brass. Those look like they match. It's a little bit chewed up there from a screwdriver. Someone trying to tighten it and it's slipping out. We can clean that up. We'll fix that. That'll be nice. The handle, will we be able to use the handle? I think so. We have a little bit of a crack right there. We'll sand it down. It'd be nice to use the original handle. Even if keep the handles, even if they aren't good, and you can use them as a template to make a new one, but that's probably I'll bet that was original there. You can see the black. I wonder if that would have been painted black originally. And I don't know what this screw is for. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. I don't recall seeing this on any of my planes. Yeah, I don't know what that's for. It's got a strange spacer on it. Yeah, let me know in the comments, but it's clean. Probably never been off. And then, of course, we've got on the back side of the frog, we can disassemble. This piece here would be brass. I believe the adjuster. Let's see, how was it that we got those out of there? That's got a backwards thread on it. Will that come out of there? Do we need to get that out? It would be nice to get that. It has to come out. They have to assemble it, right? That's a nice piece, though. I think I believe that's solid brass. I just found that when you take this stuff all apart, you get the rust remover seems to just work better. Plus, you can polish it because we want this all to be like nice and shiny. I restored for my favorite planes, I restored a #1. I think it was a #1 Stanley. They had a lot of brass and steel. That's not coming off of there. It's just tight, I think. Don't want to put any tool. There we go. Don't want to put any tools on that. Oh, if I work it back and forth. There we go. We got it. Okay. Yeah, this has got a lot of. Look, that is a beautiful piece there. That's going to polish up nice. And then we have this guy. Try not to let that screw slip. These style of, I don't know what this type of blade's called, but gunsmiths often use them. These type of screwdrivers, this is a made in England, a footprint screwdriver. They really bite and hold screws, and they don't tend to strip them out. So I like to use those footprint screwdrivers when I'm working with guns and things. And that's about basically it. That's probably as far as we need to take it apart. But I guess we could take this screw out too. And that's got nickel coating on it as well. Okay, so the thing that we don't know, the unknown thing is, of course, the base. This is probably, among the most important parts of it. What you're looking for, if you're going to buy a used one, is just any obvious cracking. Sometimes you'll see chips in there. I'd probably stay away from stuff like that, or any really deep gouging, or any sign that some guy has taken a belt sander to it or something. It's just hard to say until we put a straight edge on it. And the edges are square and no cracks or damages. Here you can see the #4 Bailey on there. But overall, it looks in good shape, made in USA. Yep, all right, let's derust it. Years ago when I was restoring these tools, I did all the rust removal by hand. And I don't do that anymore. I started using this Evapo-Rust. Actually, one of you guys sent me a gallon can of this, and I was so impressed with it, I bought this big one. I think it's worth it buying the big one if you're trying to de-rust stuff. Even your tools, if you left stuff like in your boat or your car or vice grips, you know how they get. You can just throw them in this basket, and it comes with the can. 24 hours, you take it out, and everything is just pristine. So it's worth it to me just to have the bucket and the can. And this little grate deal that they give you, it's tight enough, the holes, that you can put small screws and things and they don't fall through. So we'll just put all that stuff in there, of course, not the wood. And the frog. It doesn't seem to have anything, or it doesn't do any harm to the brass that I've ever noticed. All the screws and hardware, it just gets into those nooks and crannies. And that's it. That will sit now we'll let that sit overnight, and then we'll take it out. We'll see what happens. That'll be tomorrow. So, but this stuff is just fabulous for rust removal. All right. While that Evapo-Rust does its thing, I guess that opens a perfect segue for manly manners, huh? Let's open Manly Manners here and see what's going on and see if we can find something to help us in our, as we plod through life. So Manly Manners tells us on page 40, don't run away with the idea that there is nothing to do in the house and that your wife should therefore never be busy or tired. You work for a few hours at the office and come right away from it until the next day, but a woman's work is never done until bedtime, and then she lies awake and thinks of something she has left undone. You know, I just realized Manly Manners was written by a woman in 1913. Why is a woman giving instruction to men? I'm thinking back on some of the Manly Manners that we're reading here, and yeah, we've had some good and we've had some bad, but it's all from the perspective of the man needs to correct his behavior, and I see little or nothing in here of the woman correcting hers. Why haven't I picked up on this before? You know, I don't think that I want to read Manly Manners anymore. I think maybe we need to write our own Manly Manners from a man's perspective. That would seem more fitting to me.